What's up, YouTube? It's Donovan, the smartphone guy, coming back at you with another video, and tonight we're going to take a look at the number one D6 watch. So the company is number one. They specialize in watches, smartwatches, and this is their model D6. So one thing that is very unique about this watch is the fact that it is running a full version of Android. This is not Android Wear. This is actual Android 5.1. So it has Lollipop built into it, quad-core processor, 1.63-inch display with 320 by 320 pixels, 8 gigs of onboard storage, and 1 gig of RAM. And you can see here that it does support 2G and 3G coverage, so it's GSM, and obviously you can see here that there's some translation issues. So instead of Android, it's Andrio, and instead of GSM networks, it says GMS. But anyways, it does support Bluetooth connections with Android and iOS phones, and then also it supports Wi-Fi, GPS, and heart rate. So let's go ahead and toss that over to the side. Technically, this can be used as a standalone phone. Personally, I would never use it that way, but you can use it if you so choose. Now, if you want to use it connected to your phone, which I presume most people would, this is the QR code for Android, and what that allows you to do is essentially just get notifications pushed to the watch. Particularly, obviously, you can get notifications for email, directly to it. With Wi-Fi and everything, but with Bluetooth you can get your calls and your texts pushed to the watch. You can't really do much with them, they just show them to you, but they will show you the full notification, which is kind of cool. So the watch itself, if we look at the hardware of it, we have a power button here, we have some capacitive buttons, this is a home button, back button, and then this thing is like the old menu button, which would be like on older versions of Android. It's not a recent apps button. I wish that's what it was, but it's not. And I will say this, this is a mistake that I made. So you can see here that I have kind of a more sporty band on it. The band that it actually comes with, I have right here, is a leather band. Oops, I got some pins there. I replaced this because I felt that the band was a little uncomfortable for me, and I'm more of an active guy. I like to run with my watch, and a leather band just doesn't work well for that. And I found this one to be uncomfortable. Now you can see here that when I took the band off, just taking the pins out of it, I got rid of a wire. Now I haven't been able to figure out what I cut there, and I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me in the comments what this was for, but you can see that I clearly cut a wire on both ends here. You can see the wire for the other end as well. So I'm not sure. Everything still works on the phone or on the watch as far as I can tell, but yeah, so it's not really replaceable. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I replaced it for the sport band, and I like it a whole lot better. It's a lot more comfortable to wear now. But anyways, that's a side note. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on so you guys can see what it does. Or well, actually, before we do that, I should pop this off and show you guys. There's a speaker there. You can actually play music through it, and it's very tinny. You certainly would not want to use that as a normal speaker that you're using. If you think cell phone speakers are tinny, this one's really bad. But let's see if I can pop that off, maybe. All right, there we go. So underneath we have a 450 milliamp hour battery and a slot for our SIM card. So like I said, it can be used as a standalone phone, but personally I don't know of anybody that would actually do that. I'm sure there's somebody though. All right, so that is the cover there. So you can see our heart rate sensor. Now, this is not a heart rate sensor that's going to be continuous, and unfortunately, in order to actually get your heart rate, you have to actually push down on the screen, which is a little annoying. And while we're out there, we can go ahead and go through all of the watch faces. There's a ton available here. So I just happened to choose this one here because it's kind of the more sporty version. I don't have it connected to any kind of network now, and you can see that there's obviously more to choose from as well. So I downloaded this one because I liked it. It's meant for a circle watch, but whatever, it looks all right. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down so you can see. So there's the battery. Let me go ahead and show you how this thing connects. So this is the charging adapter that it comes with, and it just snaps right on there magnetically, and right away a big negative is that this thing does not hold very strong. So you're gonna if you bump it at night while you're supposed to be charging it, you know, a little bump is going to knock it off, and now all of a sudden you didn't charge your watch. So a little bit annoying. And you can see here that I've downloaded Nova Launcher onto it because, like I said, it is a full Android operating system, so you can pretty much get any app that you would get for an Android phone onto the watch. Sorry, let's see if we can get that back into focus. But anyway, so the charging mechanism is definitely a negative. The actual battery life is another negative for me. I've messed with settings, and I cannot get a full day of battery out of this thing, which for me is kind of an automatic deal breaker. It does charge very, very quickly with this. So, I mean, you're going to get a charge in about half an hour. But it's frustrating because you can't even get through a full day. And that's even with airplane mode turned on. So you can see here that I have airplane mode turned on. At the end of the video, I'll go ahead and show you what it's at. Obviously, we have the video running, so that's gonna, and I have the watch constantly on basically, so that's gonna burn through the battery a little bit, but just something to keep in mind. So you can see here I've downloaded a couple apps that didn't come native to it. Play Music and Facebook were not on the watch to begin with. The full Play Store, some settings, Twitter came on it, contacts, a browser. I downloaded Google Fit because you can actually use the GPS on the watch to track your run. So you can come here and hit that plus button if we can get it. It's kind of hard to get, but here we go. So there's some activities you can choose from here. So you can see that start activity button. So I'd go there and hit that start activity, and I hit the wrong button. So that's obviously a little bit frustrating because you're going to hit the wrong button quite often with this. So there it goes. Up here, you can see I don't have my, there it goes. Actually, it turned the Bluetooth, or not the Bluetooth, but the GPS on. So now it's searching for Bluetooth, and I can go ahead and, not Bluetooth, for GPS, and actually it's locked in already. So I can go ahead and hit start and start running, and it will track my workout for me. So that's kind of cool. I tried a couple other apps that I typically used with other watches, like Runkeeper. Couldn't really get Runkeeper to work on this. Another one called Ghost Racer did work fine, but the way it fit on the screen just didn't work out very well. So Google Fit did work very well, but you can see just some typical Android apps here. The Maps works very well. Yeah, so this is an app that it comes with, Pedometer. It does not track your steps continuously throughout the day. You do have to actually come in here and tell it that you want it to. So that's just something to keep in mind. On here, there's a barometer, heart rate sensor. Again, I mentioned this earlier that you have to actually push the screen. Now it's not going to work right now because I don't have it on my wrist, but it doesn't just continuously monitor that. But yeah, so there's Nova Launcher, like I said. So actually, let's go ahead and go to that. So you can see I just kind of had it set up. I didn't put a whole lot on there, but just some of the apps I like to use. But we're going to go back to the main launcher it comes with. So this, I don't even understand. This is after 2 days, so it didn't actually, so it's midnight, just past midnight, and it did not recycle the steps, so that's kind of weird, but just something that it's kind of interesting about it. So there's just some music controls if we swipe to the right, heart rate and pedometer, and then some weather. You can go in here and it'll give you more detailed. Now, I don't have my GPS turned on right now, so it's not going to give me that, but anyways, so back button, back, we can hit home and it'll bring us back to our main screen. So again, those are our apps. Let's go into the settings so I can show you some things here. So sound, that's something that you need to see. So the only way to change the volume is to actually go into the settings and go into the sound. So you can change your media volume here, obviously. So let's just for fun, we're gonna listen to a song real quick. See if we can actually. Well, I have my Wi-Fi turned off, so it's not gonna work. But it does work. It just doesn't sound very good. But all right, let's go back into the settings. So sound, we can change there. We can change our alarm volumes, ring volumes. So kind of typical sound settings there. Home just changes the launcher. Display. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So that's how you change your brightness level here. So I'll just go back and forth there. You can see you change the brightness level. Let's go back. All right, so some other things there. Connections. So let's take a look at the connections. So we have Bluetooth. So you can connect to an Android phone, like I mentioned before, iOS, whatever, and Wi-Fi, of course. We're gonna keep that off for now. And so there's airplane mode, Wi-Fi hotspot. I suppose you could do that. GPS does work very well. So let's go ahead and turn that on. So there's high accuracy. But yeah, so anyways, that's nice. Like I said, I was tracking a few runs that I went on. Now, imagine this thing doesn't get through a day of battery life. So when you are running with like Bluetooth music to a pair of headphones and also tracking through GPS on a 5-mile run, it burned through like 40% of the battery. So you're definitely not going to make it through like a half marathon or a marathon wearing this watch because it's just not the battery. I mean, unless somebody else can tell me otherwise, the battery life will not last through that. So that's kind of a little bit of a frustration. So let's see, power saving mode. Even the power saving mode doesn't really do enough. That just basically turns into airplane mode. But let's go ahead and go into the battery just so you can kind of see. So it's at 85%, yeah, and I have an hour and 39 minutes left, which is kind of crazy, with 85% battery there. So obviously the screen's been on the whole time here, but typically the one that I see that's always taking up the battery on this thing is the Android system, which is kind of weird. But anyways, so obviously the screen's been on a lot right now. So just a few other things here. So like I mentioned here, we have a Android 5.1 there. Yeah, so let's see if there's anything else we need to go over here. I think that just about covers everything about the watch. If there's anything that you have a question about in terms of the watch itself, please go ahead and leave that question in the comment section. Yeah, I'll try to answer those as much as I can, but it's a decent watch. There are definitely some flaws. So like I said, battery life and the charging mechanism are definitely two of my biggest concerns. For a 450 milliamp hour battery, it really should be able to get through a day. I've had the Moto 360 Sport, which has a significantly smaller battery, but that one would get me through a day. So I don't really know what is draining all the battery. Even on airplane mode, it eats up battery with the screen turned off all day. It's kind of strange, but anyways, just something to keep in mind if you're interested. I'm going to go ahead and scroll one more thing. So this is to flip to turn your screen on. If you have it on your wrist, you can just flip your wrist and turn the screen on, which is a good feature to have. Do not disturb, of course, will turn off all the sounds. And then off screen, off net. What that does is when you turn the screen off, it turns your Wi-Fi off, or it turns the 3G off if you need to do that. And then we have some brightness settings there as well. So anyways, kind of a long video. Hopefully it's been helpful for you if this is a watch that you have been interested in potentially purchasing. It does run a full version of Android, but obviously the biggest drawback for me is the battery. If they could fix the battery through a software update, which I have already seen 3 or 4 updates available online, if they could fix the battery life somehow, I would definitely call this a keeper. But otherwise, until that battery life is fixed, for me, it's just a no-go. So anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful for you, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.